But Kasmuel, why not come to the negotiating table or the dialogue table, right?
We cannot show up to dialogue tables when majority of us are showing up on autopsy tables.
If you're wondering why Olive Burrows is trending on X, well, let me put you on. So recently, an interview between Olive Burrows and Kasmuel MCOURE on Citizen TV has sparked a significant backlash, with many questioning the independence of journalism. So Olive Burrows, who has been trending on X, formerly Twitter, faced criticism for her perceived bias during the interview.
But Kasmuel, why not come to the negotiating table or the dialogue table, right? And say, first of all, we want accountability for the lives that were lost. That is one of the demands I've heard Mercy put across. What is so difficult, or isn't that the ideal situation?
We cannot show up to dialogue tables when majority of us are showing up on autopsy tables. It is an unfair thing for you to expect of the Kenyan youth to take this while lying down, because everybody but the people who are losing blood, and I will keep on referring to these people because the youth that have died, and there's no need for euphemism, they did not just die. It was not an accident. They did not die of the protests. They are victims of police brutality.
The Gen Z activist Kasmuel MCOURE and Basi Taras. So Kasmuel, the musician turned activist, navigated the interview skillfully. When I tell you this man is bright, he is bright, despite Burrows frequently cutting him off. And I suggest you go and watch that interview. And this is not a drill. I have no idea what is up with Olive Burrows. So Burrows seemed to lean towards calls for dialogue and negotiation, leading many to speculate that she may have been influenced by the Kenya Kwanza government.
We have not seen any form of goodwill from this government, in the sense that they've asked us for evidence. We have shown photos, we have shown videographic evidence, because they told us that they do not have CCTV footage of the people who went into parliament. We have shown different angles and the way the fences were already down by the time people were getting in.
Who did you show this?
These things are in public domain. Just the same way they can find youth. You've run stories here of people being abducted, right? These stories were not shown to you. They are stories that were found on social media. And I think by people trying to behave as though social media is not an avenue, it is trying to tell us that we do not have an intelligence service in this country. We cannot show up to a dialogue table that has been organized by our oppressor. We will not show up to a place where there is...
So who do you want to organize it?
Citizens have called out Citizen TV for this interview, with some even asking for Olive Burrows' contact information asalimiwe, which is a new trend among Kenyans aiming to guide influential figures, quote-unquote guide. You know. So observers noted that Burrows did not participate in last week's journalist protest for freedom, further fueling suspicions of a pro-government stance. Clips of her past interviews have resurfaced, suggesting a pattern of siding with the government, especially an interview between her and Mother Karua. Mother Karua seemed absolutely off with Olive Burrows.
I wasn't taught.
Despite the contentious nature of the interview, many were impressed by Kasmuel's key responses to Olive Burrows' questions. His words have been celebrated as a call for accountability, with Citizen TV's own Linus Kakai tweeting in support, saying, and I quote, "We cannot turn up at the dialogue table when some of us are turning up at the autopsy table." Kasmuel MCOURE on at Citizen TV, #Citizen Weekend, July 27, 2024. Yes, that was the date of the interview. So Kasmuel's demeanor and style and aura have been compared to the legendary tomboy. I admired his interview skills and charismatic presence. I feel like at the very beginning, many people did not understand Kasmuel's agenda, but as time has gone, people have really been able to understand who Kasmuel is and what he stands for, and just the way he presents himself, and he's able to articulate what he's saying on interviews, and he never repeats the same thing in any interview whatsoever. So big up to Kasmuel. Let me know what you like about Kasmuel in the comment section. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and read a few tweets by people on the internet. One person is Eve Minor, who said, "I hope Olive Burrows gets a job she is looking for in government. She was on her knees begging for it on that interview. This government is making successful women beg for jobs on live TV. Misogynistic government." Other person is Cornelius, who said, "Olive Burrows was nowhere to be seen when journalists were protesting on Wednesday last week. I think she is an agent of the state. We may be forced to greet her soon." Another person is Andy, who said, "Olive Burrows, wheelbarrow." Well, comparison to Ruto's wheelbarrows. Another person is Henry, who said, and I quote, "We deal with Satanism, Sodom and Gomorrah later." Olive Burrows of Citizen TV is learning from Kasmuel MCOURE and Mercy Taras that Gen Zs do not read from the book averages like David and D. Another person is Welo, who said, and I quote, "Olive Burrows, you can't be on the streets all year long." Kasmuel MCOURE, we absolutely can. Another person is Ali Noor Mohammed, who said, and I quote, "Olive Burrows of Citizen TV should apologize to the nation for such a useless interview that was meant to make Gen Zs look like useless and disorganized humans." months. Olive Burrows is a sellout. She was nowhere to be seen when journalists were protesting on Wednesday last week. Other person is United, who said Olive Burrows knows no chills when highlighting Ruto's promises. Well, let me know what you think about the Olive Burrows and Kasmuel's interview and whether you were able to watch it, and what you think about Kasmuel. Let me know in the comment section. I'll see you then.